What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday, if that is such a thing. I guess it is because it's not Monday. Let me share this real quick on Twitter and wait for somebody to get in here. Thank you. I've been doing this for almost 5 years. You would think I could get that easier. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, where's... There's a freaking hashtag. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Jeez. There we go. Okay, there we go. That was 2 minutes and 26 seconds of me trying to figure out technology, but we're good. Sorry, there we go. It's just a little dark. We don't know why my screen. There we go. But obviously Shohei Ohtani is signed, and it feels a little gross. I know it's legal with all the deferrals and everything. So if I'm reading the math calculations correctly, which shouldn't trust me to do anything with contracts and money, finance was not my forte, to say the least. But the actual value is 487 million and 0.5. And it is a $46 million luxury tax hit, and for the Dodgers, that isn't a lot. Money apparently grows on trees for them, so it's not a bad contract at all for them. And Shohei Ohtani making $2 million in the first 10 years feels so weird and so wrong. But that is what it is, I guess. And the Dodgers, they what's up, Chris? They just keep getting richer, but I still think it's a massive risk, considering he's not even pitching this year, paying $700 million for just a DH, and you don't know if he's going to come back the same with 2 Tommy Johns, and deferring the contract will help you present day, but it could hurt otherwise. But otherwise, I feel gross, and because it's the Dodgers, and the Dodgers always get really, really, really nice things. And and I'll never like the Dodgers. I don't care who's in their uniform. Even Freddie Freeman, I tolerate Freddie in a Dodger uniform, but it just no thanks. Joseph Seth Lugo is off the board. 3 years, 45 with the Kansas City Royals. It's a good get for Kansas City. They've actually gone nice and veteran this week, signing old friend Will Smith to a $5 million 1-year deal. Will Smith keeps cashing in. And Chris Stratton, I think they got on 1-year deal too. Seth Lugo was one of my bigger targets for the Braves. I think 15 per is probably standard. He is 34 years old, just transitioning back to the rotation full time from being a hybrid bullpen piece. But I think it's good for the Royals, great for Lugo. I could see, obviously there's been reports that we had interest and obviously kicked the tires, but nothing official. And now that's another piece off the board. For those that say our rotation is fine, yes, it's fine the way it's constructed. Definitely for this year, you got Max Fried, Spencer Strider, Charlie Morton, and then I would guess Bryce Elder and AJ Smith-Shawver, Hurst, and Waldrop. But I don't think that's feasible, and that's putting way too much pressure, in my opinion, on AJ Smith-Shawver and Hurst and Waldrop to be more than they need to be early on in their career, trying to figure out how MLB pitching and how their arm is going to react. I think it's unfair. So the first three or four of the rotation you feel good about because they've created a track record, and Bryce Elder went through the growing pains of the second half last year and kind of learned those things that I'm talking about for Hurst and Waldrop and AJ Smith-Shawver. I just think it's pretty irresponsible, I don't know if that's the word, for us to put so much on those young kids' plates so far. Plus, Hurst and Waldrop hasn't even been in spring training yet before. So I think it would do a disservice to us this year and next year and beyond if we didn't add some sort of piece to the rotation. And I think Alex Anthopoulos knows that. He's not dumb, but he's also you got to make sure every piece fits the organization, the culture, even though he come out and said he doesn't like that word. But the reality is you got to make sure everything works, everything fits. And I think we went after Nola, but he was always going to go back to Philly, I think. And Yamamoto, pretty clearly, probably the Dodgers, Giants, or even the Mets, hoping the Red Sox throw their hat in the ring. But it feels Dodger-y, especially after the whole Shohei Ohtani thing. I think the Dylan Cease price is probably still astronomically high. I think Shane Bieber and Tyler Glasnow are good, but I think they are also made of glass. Their price might be a little down a little further because Glasnow would be a 1-year rental. And Bieber, I think, has only 1 year of control. And yes, the Dodgers are trying to buy championships, which more power to them. And if they don't, win the championships after all this, I'm going to laugh really, really, really hard. And I hope the Braves knock them out. No doubt about that. Let's see. So, I mean, there is still a lot of starting pitching out there. Obviously, they're bigger names. Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, and obviously probably some names that we're not even thinking about. I don't know if Freddie Peralta is out there with the Milwaukee Brewers seemingly going to a rebuild. I would even take a veteran stopgap guy kind of at this point to ensure depth and experience. Yes, I did see that unfortunate news for the Mets. Their big-time shortstop prospect, Mauricio, I think I said that right, tore his ACL in winter ball. That's really unfortunate. That kid crushes the ball, and we've seen how different it is coming back from an ACL. You're kind of a shell of yourself for about a year and a half, just trying to trust your knee. So that's a rough blow for the Mets for sure. But I mean, the starting pitching, we need it. Not only just the stable of this year, because Charlie Morton's coming into his age 40 year with the injury history of the last couple of years. Max Fried, the injury history of the last couple of years. I feel like, and then the pending free agency of I'm not gonna get into the whole Shohei thing. I already said my piece about it. You can go to my videos. I'm glad that you and I'm glad that you're a Dodger fan, and I appreciate the support. But it is what it is. And you're buying a World Series because you're manipulating the contract. More power to you, and good job to do it. But deferring $68 million when you're supposed to be paying Shohei Ohtani $70 million per year, that just feels off in the financials. But that's all I'll say on that. But back to the rotation and the concerns about it. Because AA typically always plays the long game, and he played the long game with Jared Kelenic, basically buying Jared Kelenic in a way because of the money that we're sending to the Pirates for Marco Gonzalez, and covering most of Max Stassi's contract as well. You do get David Fletcher, which is a really good utility piece with a 91% contact rate, which is something I think we really need, especially kind of coming off a playoff where, yes, you're facing Nola and Wheeler, but we just couldn't put the ball in play in the biggest moments. And honestly, we did in the biggest moments, just couldn't find holes. And maybe David Fletcher kind of plays into that. But what I was saying is AA typically plays the long game with improving the team this year and beyond. And I think he did that with Jared Kelenic, even having to buy those extra years with 5 years of control. If Jared Kelenic is able to reach half of his potential, you've got your starting left fielder for 5 years. So you're thinking this year and beyond. With the rotation, it feels like it's not it's not necessarily a this year and beyond yet, even though, yes, Ronaldo Lopez is going to get an opportunity to start, but that definitely, I don't know that moves the needle for me anyway, because he's just been so much better out of the bullpen, and you never can have enough pitching coming out of there, especially with the volatility injury wise of our rotation. So I'm really hoping that AA pulls a magic trick and find something, maybe even with the Mariners. I don't know. We've done a lot with the Mariners this year. Again, Dylan Cease isn't necessarily he's a great piece, but I think the price is way too much just for 2 years. And yes, Joseph Ronald is killing it in the Venezuelan league. He won the home run derby last night, and he just seems to be killing it, which is amazing to see, and him having so much fun and just continually honing his craft, even though doesn't really need to, but he continues to, and that's the mark of him. The mark of a superstar and amazing amazing player and person that he has quickly become. So that's awesome. And Lee, I think it's and the Giants. Ooh, excuse me. Switching, but the Giants make a big splash, getting the left fielder. What's up, Hudson? I'm glad to see you. In these again, the Giants make a big splash, getting the left fielder from Japan, Lee. Everybody, we talked about him a couple of lives ago as a possibility for the Braves. 6 years, 113, with an opt-out after year number 4. And I'm actually really happy for the Giants fans, for their organization, because they've been left at the altar. I think somebody put it that way. So that's not a line, my line, that's somebody else's line, but I liked it, with Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and big free agents over the last couple of years. So getting a 3 to 4 WAR type of player, even though I don't necessarily understand how the WAR stuff works. I just know the higher that is, the better the player, and he feels like a really, really good Ha-Seong Kim with a little more power type of thing, and I think the Giants did a really good job with that. Just really happy for them to be able to get a relatively big ticket guy. I'm surprised that the Red Sox have been so quiet, other than acquiring Tyler O'Neill from the Cardinals. They need starting pitching and outfield worse than the Braves do, and I'm really surprised that they've been as quiet as they've been thus far. But a lot of people have been quiet in comparison to what the Braves have done. 7 trades. Yeah, I like the idea that stars are spread out, and things like that. So I'm nice to see the Giants throw their hat in the ring there, and I hope Lee does work out, because he looks like a Yoshida type as well, and that's worked out pretty well for Boston. We did fill out the Braves did fill out starting rotation. I mean, not starting rotation, sorry, coaching staff yesterday. We went with mostly internal options. And I will be honest, I'm not familiar with our new first base coach's game yet. But Matt Tuiasosopo getting the third base coaching position seems like a good fit. He's been the manager at Gwinnett since 2019. He subbed in a few times for Wash. Sickness, family issues, or baseball related celebrations that Wash was a part of, and I think that's a good fit. Everybody knows him and things of that nature. I just hope that he keeps the aggressiveness, but I think him and Ronnie are gonna have to get together because Matt Tuiasosopo is gonna have to realize that Ronald kind of runs to his own beat, because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Ronald just ran through a stop sign that Tuiasosopo gave him in the one of the games that he subbed in for Wash. So I hope the aggressive nature of the Braves base running continues. Tom Goodwin will be the first base coach, and like I said, I don't know too much about him except that he's been with the Braves for a while now. Minor league affiliate, minor league roving instructor, which means just he's got a lot of hats in the ring, and he's gotten a lot of high praise from our organization, and a former, I think either Freddie Freeman or Dansby Swanson had really good things to say about him. So I'm totally cool with that. Like I said, I don't know much, but again, I just hope the aggressiveness of our base running, and I'm going over that right now, Joseph. I just hope the aggressive base running sticks. Maybe some of the mental errors will be knocked down a little bit, or the overly aggressive stuff, maybe that'll be knocked down a little bit. But I'm really excited what those two guys can bring. And Eric Abreu has been the minor league, AAA pitching coach for the Astros for the last handful of years. And I think I could be talking out of the side of my mouth on this one, but we hired Drew French, who was the Astros bullpen coach before he came to us. And I don't know, because Troy Snitker works for the Astros as their hitting coach. Maybe Brian Snitker has a little insight on that. And because we've gone to the well twice there, and they obviously like what they've seen. And the Astros bullpen has been one of their biggest strengths through this historically good run that they've had. So maybe the family connection has helped out the Braves in that way. So I'm really excited for him as well to dawn in the big leagues. And like I said, the only coach that I'm really familiar with is Matt Tuiasosopo, but the promotion from internally, I feel like it's a really good thing, because again, the organizational culture and everything that we continually preach is family, and promoting family within feels feels really good and feels like it tracks. So congratulations to those guys. I can't wait to get to know them and their game and what they're going to bring to the table, because I know it's going to be fun and I know it's going to be the way the Braves want things done. And also one more note of Walt Weiss will take an expanded role with the infielders as well. That tracks with his playing days and how consistently good he was. So that is huge. And that is my thoughts on the coaches. For sure. But I'm really happy about that. Not really any other huge news, I don't think. But again, like, obviously, and I saw the Dodgers are in on obviously. Kelnick, you don't basically buy Kelnick for 5 more years and think it's going to be a platoon. You think you can fix Kelnick to be the prime guy that we all have heard about for so many years. So Kelnick will definitely get the bulk. I don't know where Vaughn Grisham fits, because you added David Fletcher, who is basically the utility backup infielder. Nicky Lopez, the right-handed version of Nicky Lopez, is what he's been compared to. So I don't know where Vaughn Grisham fits, because platooning him doesn't seem like a viable option, because 330 and like a historically good on base streak in AAA, I don't think you can platoon him. I just think his bat is ruddy, but he's never played left. So I don't know how much stock you can put into that, but he is playing left in winter ball this year, so we'll see how that works. But I honestly think Vaughn won't be a part of the organization much longer. I mean, it just feels like the writing's on the wall. So I like Vaughn, and I want him to be successful, but it just doesn't. It feels like a square peg, round hole kind of situation for him in this organization. And I feel like he may be a key piece, and if we were able to acquire some type of starting pitcher, I don't know what at this point, because the 9-figure guys feel a little out of reach. I could be completely wrong on that, like the Blake Snells of the world, the Yamamotos, definitely not. But that is just my honest thoughts on the Vaughn Grisham of it all. I think Jared Kelenic is your primary left fielder. And with the DH being the way it is, we're not gonna do a lot of mixing and matching. I wouldn't think, because we haven't over the last 3 or 4 years. But I do know that Alex Anthopoulos keeps saying we're gonna add, not subtract. So I don't see us trading like a Raisel Iglesias or a Marcelo Zuna for anything, because that would be addition by subtraction type of thing. So I don't see that happening. The notion that the Braves may wait on starting pitching until the trade deadline, that's kind of a dangerous game, but also could see that happening. Yeah, I think David Fletcher is the backup. That's my David Fletcher, who we just acquired from the Angels. I feel like David Fletcher is the backup. But if Von Grisham makes it to spring training with us, you could also see that too. And you're right, we got to make sure that the Arcia thing wasn't necessarily wasn't a mirage or a fluke, as you put it. But I think David Fletcher uh, takes that utility role just because he's been used to utilitying. Not proper English there, but he's used to moving around. He's used to doing different things, and the contact rate is insane. And so I picture it, if we keep David Fletcher, as David Fletcher will be the utility infielder. But like I said, I think a lot of things usually work themselves out in spring training. Like last year, we had Dylan Dodd and Jared Schuster as our 5 spot, and Schuster is now with Chicago White Sox, and Dodd, I don't know if Dodd even plays a role anymore either. I think he does a little bit because he has a little bit more velocity than Jared Schuster does to be able to get away with more mistakes. But I'm not exactly sure, and it turned into Bryce Elder all-star first half. He did lose a little bit of steam, so I think everything kind of works themselves out in spring training, and there's always going to be surprises because that's just how baseball goes. So you may be right. Von Grisham may just play his brains out, and they actually believe in what he does in left field, and something gives. Yeah, that's true. That's why it's a weird square peg round hole thing with Vaughn, because if we were going to transition him to the utility left field, you would think you would do it while Eric Young Sr. is still in your organization, because he's the outfield guru of it all, and it just feels a little weird. But that's definitely a story to follow, for sure. But again, the rotation, it's a scary thought at the moment, with Elder as your 4, AJ Smith-Shawver as your 5, and then Ronaldo Lopez possibly shifting to a rotation role, which he hasn't actually which he hasn't actually had a lot of success out of the bullpen, out of the rotation, even though I think Rick Kranitz could have wave his magical wand there. And if that were the case, that would be a steal because 10 million per year at 30 million for 3 years, so that could be a definite steal. But I just think you're better off him in the bullpen and being a hybrid McHugh role, and just keep having the bullpen be an ultimate strength. And obviously, there's still a lot of time and still a lot of things to figure out. But the rotation, I think waiting is definitely a dangerous game. Yeah, I just saw that, Joseph. That's a good veteran get for the Pirates. They typically do a nice job with that kind of stuff. And getting Marco Gonzalez kind of fits that track as well. The Reds have done a nice job. Nick Martinez, 3 years, 26. Jay Candelario, 3 years, 45. They have so many infielders. I don't know what they're going to do. But they could definitely, with the depth of their infield and utility and versatility, they could swing that into a starting pitcher. I don't know about relatively easily, but I feel like they're going to. And I feel like Jonathan India is going to be on the move. We got cash for Marco Gonzalez. We just got cash because there wasn't a player. There was in the Rule 5 draft, all of the players that we wanted were already taken, so we just flipped for cash on that. But like I said, I think it's Jared Kelnick. So Jared Kelnick and David Fletcher total about 16 million, I believe. So that's why I'm saying that. So that's why I said that you kind of do a Tukey Toussaint and buy Jared Kelnick and see if you can make the man reach his potential, so to speak. And I think you will, because the Chop House is very inviting for lefties. We all know that, and he doesn't have to be the guy like he did with the Mets or the Mariners. And just a fresh start. Obviously, there was a little bit of bad blood from the Mariners manipulating service time and things of that nature. So it's just a fresh start, and he can be a guy, not the guy. And he does add element of speed as well with 13 stolen bases. So I think we've definitely improved the team, and we are good, and we're gonna be good. And it's a lot easier when you have a lot of your guys locked up, and you're really confident in it all. And that I just think the rotation is going to be a little scary until we see whether we are able to land a big fish or we do something creative like we have done this entire offseason, or something that none of us are expecting, which is probably what's going to happen. And I love the way the Braves do it, and I hope that Alex Anthopoulos signs an extension, because I don't want him going anywhere else and working his magic for other teams. So I hope that comes down the pike. But again, even if I'm nervous about the rotation, Alex Anthopoulos is good at what he does, and clearly um, we have money, and we've used it creatively, yes, but it's still there, and I just hope we don't go after like a Zach Greinke. I love Zach, but man, that would just be weird. Um, so, um, but like I said, we've had what 7 trades this offseason. It's a lot of uh, chess pieces moving and things of that nature, but um, there's always a method to AA's madness, and it's always interesting slash somewhat nerve wracking um, depending on what the move is, um, and I do also appreciate that there is never a knee jerk reaction type of issue with Alex Anthopoulos. Um, because he knows what's in front of him. He knows what the roster is. He knows what the depth is. He knows everything. Marcus Stroman also kind of scares me because I just his personality. But that's an option as well. Maybe. Uh, eh, I haven't heard us calling AJ Smith Shawver untouchable. To be honest with you, um, you probably. I mean, I think as fans we overvalue prospects, but they're prospects until they're not. I've used that phrase, I don't know, several times probably. I think if I don't I'm I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million times more, but I'm terrible at speculating things. But I will give AJ a lot of credit for what he did for us in the postseason. It wasn't pretty, it was mop up duty, but he did some good things, and I wouldn't put it past him having a good year, but you're gonna see growing pains. You saw it from Bryce Elder in the second half. Um, it's just the nature of it. I mean, up and down seasons for happen for every pitcher. Even if you have a Cy Young year, there's things that you're never gonna know. I mean, you're gonna have a bad start. You're gonna if you're healthy, you're gonna make 35 at most 30 to 35 starts, and you just you're gonna have some clunkers in there no matter who you are. So I think to use the word untouchable, I don't know that I've heard us use that phrase, or a lot of people use that phrase. I don't know. I liked what I saw from him last year, and last year helped us win some clutch games, and he has um, stuff galore. Can he harness it and be consistent and amazing and all that stuff? Yeah, I hope so. Because he's only 20. So there's a lot to mold there. There's a lot to like there, and he's got the stuff to be able to get away with a little more mistakes. Can he harness the walks and things of that nature? I that's going to be the big key for AJ. That's why I think starting pitching wherever we get it, if we get it, and I will be really disappointed if we don't. because I don't think you want to put so much on this kid's plate or even Hurston Waldrop's plate. So I think you're gonna benefit more from some quality MLB pitching that you can rely on, along with AJ Smith-Shawver, Hurston Waldrop, Darius Vines, because you know you're gonna need that depth. You know you're gonna need those guys, but I don't think you want to put the entire weight of a 5 spot on those guys, because like like we saw last year, great for Bryce Elder in the first half, but it just kind of fell apart on him a little bit in the second half, and um, you can't predict that, because it's just really hard to. It just really is. Well, obviously we believe a whole heck of a lot in AJ, and I believe in him too. If we believe in him that much, and I feel like he's gonna get a legit shot at something. I just feel like it for not only this year but next year, because of the uncertainty with Max Fried. Charlie Morton's likely going to retire. It's really hard to kind of build a rotation from scratch. Even if you have Spencer Strider, AJ Smith-Shawver, that's only 2 out of 5. Say even Bryce Elder, 3 out of 5, and that doesn't help or move the needle, and um, that's why the rotation, until we see what we see, it's going to be a concern. But like I said, it always works itself out. Alex Anthopoulos is always trying to make us better, so I have no reason not to trust that he will. But like I said earlier, Alex Anthopoulos is the king of now and in the future. And right now, I think our rotation is just now, not in the future, and that's the little scary, murky situation that I'm not sure of and will not be sure of until we see whatever we see. Because obviously, free agency is not over, and there's a lot of moving pieces, and trades are still going to happen, and this, that, and the other. So, and it's only December 12th. Uh, that's also a possibility. We've done a nice job international prospects wise. Um, Position player wise, the only international pitcher I ever remember us getting was Kenshin Kawakami, and that didn't work out except maybe a pocket of 5 starts. Julio Teheran, solid. I think that was pretty much it. So that is definitely a possibility for sure. But we don't necessarily have a track record of international pitching from that. Not to say that I'm opposed to that at all, because like I say, until I'm blue in the face, every time you think you have enough pitching, you need more. We used 16 pitchers last year, still won 104 games, but we had to use 16 still. And I think that benefited us in the way of understanding who we believe in, and who we want to ride, and who we thought weren't a part of our plans. Jared Schuster, Michael Soroka. Now, granted, Michael Soroka was an injury plagued, and Kyle Wright as well. Injury plagued. There's nothing you can do about that, and that's unfortunate. But it is part of it, and to come to the reality that you realize who you believe in and the guys you don't, and using the guys you don't to improve your team in other areas. It's a cruel business, but the right way to do business, as it were. And the Braves have been aggressive in that way this offseason more than I've ever seen it. And I appreciate that. And I think it's the reality of early postseason exits, because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It leaves a bad taste in all our mouths, but especially Alex Anthopoulos, who prides himself on putting the best team out there he can, and to not necessarily get the payoff, it really stinks. And this offseason, I think he looked at it and said, just did spring cleaning and was brutally honest about who was going to be there and who's not. And I think there's still a lot to be done. And it's only December 12th, but it's coming up fast. And that's the exciting part, but also the off season brings a lot of excitement, a lot of but a lot of excitement, a lot of anxiety. But I think we still have four or five roster spots on the 40, if I'm not mistaken. So still a lot of work to be done, and still going to be very exciting to see what happens and how everything shakes out. But in AA we trust, and we'll see what happens. But we're gonna wake up one of these days, and it's gonna be something very, very weird, and we're all gonna be like, really? Didn't see that one coming, because I didn't see the Jared Kelnick or the Ronaldo Lopez or the Aaron Bummer, to be completely honest. Of course, I've stopped trying to guess Alex Anthopoulos and what he's doing and what he's thinking, but I can guarantee you he dips his toe in every market and turns over every rock. So, and for those that are saying we may wait for starting pitching at the trade deadline, we also did acquire nope. Like, what was I saying? I cannot remember. But yeah, we continue. We always tinker. We're always trying to get better. So I know that Alex Anthopoulos will do that, and I have complete trust in that. No matter if we like every move, don't like every move, we always get the answer at some point. And I think having potentially 4 left-handers in our bullpen is something that I didn't necessarily have on my bingo card, but it's very important that we do. AJ Minter, Aaron Bummer, Tyler Matzik, and Dylan Lee, because Tyler Matzik and Dylan Lee are coming off injury. So that is very important, and that is something that I think Alex Anthopoulos saw last year, that we were searching and clawing for reliable lefties after Dylan Lee's injury, because we kept going back to Lucas Lipke. That just didn't work. And we really just didn't have a thing. Also, yeah, we've Julie, we discussed that a lot. And I agree. Like I said, it's only December 12th. A lot of things can shake out. And I think it's going to. I just hope we don't go for like a Zach Greinke or something like that, because I don't think that helps move the needle whatsoever. Seth Lugo was a guy I was targeting, but oh, no worries. About that, it's back if you want to listen to the rest of it. But I completely agree with you. And it's Seth Lugo was definitely a guy, but he's also 34. So again, starting pitching doesn't grow on trees unless you're the Dodgers and you have money trees. Then that's a different story. But it is what it is. Starting pitching is gold, and I think that AJ Smith-Shawver and Hurston Waldrop have a really legit chance of helping us out a lot this year. But would I love a safety blanket of a veteran guy that is proven? Jordan Montgomery, maybe. The Ohtani deal, yeah. It is what it is at this point. It does feel wrong. It does feel annoying, but more power to the Dodgers for manipulating the system, I guess. And I think that'll be addressed in the future CBAs. It is still a $46 million luxury tax hit, but again, that's not a lot for the Dodgers. Yeah, it's smart on their part, but annoying and a little unfair. I was thinking too, maybe Jack Flaherty, but I don't think that moves the needle, and I don't think he's the best personality and fit in the clubhouse. So that was kind of a guy I saw floated. But like again, it's only December 12th. A lot can change. A lot can maneuver, and you're gonna see probably like the Blue Jays have to do something drastic because they missed out on Ohtani. Bellinger's still out there, and again, probably some people that we're not thinking of. Josh Hader is obviously on the Dodgers radar because I think everybody's on the Dodgers radar. So we'll see how it plays out. But at least we had a lot more to talk about this week than last, and it'll probably continue. I appreciate. Yeah, Yamamoto's still unsigned, but he's meeting with teams this week. So that could drop at any minute. But again, it's the same players: Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, those type, and maybe AA will swoop in. I don't know. I doubt it. But we'll see. There's just so much unknown, and I honestly thought a lot more dominoes would fall after the Ohtani, Mets, but I thought a lot more dominoes would fall after the Ohtani stuff, but then I realized most of the clients that are left unsigned are Boris clients, and you know how that goes. So and plus starting pitching is at least 10 million per year. So it's not cheap, and you got to make sure every aspect of every deal works in every aspect of the clubhouse, the team, the environment, and these guys are human too. So you got to factor in a lot of things, and it's not for the faint of heart, for sure. So I'm not trying to overreact, underreact to anything, because you still have to play the games and you still have to stay healthy. That's for sure. And but let's just put it this way: Alex Anthopoulos has done a nice job of keeping me busy, and I appreciate that this off season. And I love doing these chats with you guys to just kind of get it all out on the table, and just have fun with it, and talk about how much we dislike but are jealous of the Dodgers and things of that nature. So it's always nice. It's great. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. See you guys next Tuesday. Hopefully we have a couple starting pitchers, a starting pitcher to talk about. It helps me out a lot. I love doing this stuff. And the views are skyrocketing, so I appreciate that. As always, go Braves, champions forever. I usually start at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays. These used to be Mondays, but then I flipped it to Tuesday so there wouldn't be so much other sport clashes. I have not figured out the lives and stuff when regular season starts again. Haven't figured that out quite yet, but I will put it out on my socials for no, Julie, I appreciate your support, your comments, all that stuff. So never worry about that. Because we're all busy and everything. And if I don't do one, I'll let you guys know and things of that nature, so you don't miss anything. But I'll have everything covered. And if you miss anything, you can always go back. But again, as always, go Braves, champions forever. See you guys next Tuesday.